灭一，
黑灭一，
回龙街，
张茂一，
回龙街，
张茂一，
回龙街，
张茂一，
回京大埔，
黑灭一，
回京大埔，
黑灭一，
回京大埔，
破灭一，
回龙街，
张茂一，
杨幂陪你，
花九县，
杨幂陪你，
花九县，
杨幂陪你，
花九县，
杨幂陪你，
花九县，
要我顶着讲出，
不再吃了这么少。
要我顶着讲出。
来嘞，喇嘛！Simshu Macha. Out, out, out. out, out, out.
Tibetan. Tibetans! Tibetans! UNO! Tibet! Made in China! Made in China! Made in China! We want freedom! We want freedom!
We want justice. Return to Tibet!
Let the Dalai Lama!
Return to Tibet!
Let the Dalai Lama!
Return to Tibet!
Long live!
Dalai Lama!
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 Long live! Long live! Finish! 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 What we want! What we want! What we want! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! China lies! Tibet dies! China lies!
Tibet dies!
Long live!
Dalai Lama!
Long live!
Dalai Lama!
Long live!
Dalai Lama!
Kuki-Taka!
Hemi!
Kuki-Taka!
Hemi!
Jama'kene!
Haidu!
Jama'kene!
Haidu!
Jama'kene!
Haidu!
China, China, China! China, China, China! China, China, China! China, China, China! China, China!
Out, out, out. Out, out, out. Şimdi sümbe tsepa kyuni la handu Europe buri tsopa yang tsopa ne Italy jasa Rome la o sunju tute ki kimbu ki kapsula han o nintong tetong chi ju kre handa da handu tetong zho de ge yu
Stop the political genocide. Stop the genocide. Stop the cultural genocide. Stop the cultural genocide. Stop the cultural genocide. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. Tibetan is burning. Tibetan is burning. Tibetan is burning. Shame, shame. Shame, shame. Shame, shame.
China shame
European Union. European Union.
wake up wake up
European Union.
Dalai Lama Dalai Lama chalo
이탈리 부부차고도 가와요. 회수에 양호라. 부아마다 부부님 부부의 경제 요산을 팔아라.
Stop the torture! Stop the torture! Stop the killing! Stop the killing! Tibetan! Tibetan!
개도도 제자
Tibetan! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Free Tibet! Dalai Lama! Dalai Lama! This all justice.
Dalai Lama
유럽 지구 속에 소속한 다다델라 염중난게 주 연어대가 샵자라 페로나 대민 사마 우주세 다다리 샤네 슈고야 내주 차소
Pour le faire doucement là.
Beri sama begini lamge kala masyurona, su ferona, desu ye la shurona, sada kala masyurona. Ne shingdo ringo yosadi kadola saja tomba do. All brothers and sisters are requested to stand under those trees. Please don't occupy the main road. Tutti sono pregati di non occupare la strada principale. Se è chiuso va benissimo. Lenghe tsama peri tsama di ye da ye la religione giurona.
Sì, ci siamo conosciuti a Piediluca. Sono venuto a trovarti, ti ricordi?
Kamanga c'è la zegugo urdu shugi. Quindi la strada si può. La strada è chiusa. Oh, l'engiezo pighi. Chiamlo la strada yosa di khadu le chugni digdo. Tanta io la moto donge sama ka thubare. Jaza lelo jene shugro na. Kama khashi jene jego unzu shyeyi. Jego unzu shyeyi. Ale Italy sungi kengezo Tibet nge shubina libero surona. Tibet!
Libero!
Tibet! Libero! Nge pe gelo pe suna kengezo pe gelo surona. Pe gelo! Pe gelo! Tibet!
Libero!
Gelo! Gelo! Tibet!
Libero!
Libero sung chus chesnarona. Tibet!
Libero!
Gelo! Tibet! Tibet!
Libero!
Gelo! Gelo! Puba namla charona. Gelo! Gelo! Quando adesso slogan Tibet libero, alzate braccio. Tibet libero! Tibet libero! Gelo! Gelo! Tibet libero! Secondo Shuin. Toma 공사겸고 첨보 경험 탐지 겸바 댄지 겨조라 부정원도 따외 원에 토네 다들 내려야 제고 칩교랑 나와 야간에 비게 공의 제매그 토네 해봐 저여조 그 초시 공을 땡가 도마치를 하다 아니 수스구잡 된적에 아니 공을 칠레 추디라 다나 셴바 구루지도 유럽 구루지도 공로 토대 갸조 대시 이탈리게 저조 공업이 투미다 아니 구들 행게 창말라 참디 대시 델레쇼다 찹직 달링게 시계 체외 남들 첨골게 제부디 운주 쉐야 쉐이 전에 손자의 측지 쉐자 Europe stands with Tibet. We are now celebrating the 64th anniversary of Tibetan National Uprising Day against the Chinese occupation of Tibet. Noi stiamo per iniziare il programma dell'Europa sta con il Tibet per commemorare il 64esimo anno dell'insurrezione popolare tibetana contro il regime cinese. All'inizio avremo l'inno nazionale tibetano. Inno nazionale. 아니 단다 겔루데 우주 슈드 메마운서 숭게 토베 도네바 겔루 따나로나 사마 쿠샤나로나 야, 저 파면서 거의 도대체 내 이탈리아 게임을 보고 싶다래. 그런서 베베리 쇼레 간지 토네. 는 그런서 냠뇨사니 길론진 슈토바디 완전 원에 뽑아 첨부 안에 쉬어이. 도대체 쉬어이. 도대체 밤아서. Okay, please sit down all the guests. Now we dedicate 1 minute of offering our homage to our Tibetan martyrs. Kamachik ringa nganzu be chinani gi geje paodang pam chedu ani dongsen nyamji gi gudu da nyangye xue yin. Ani kamachik ringa sama ya shane nyangye xue yin. Kamachik gozu yin. Thank you. Tujichana, guests are requested to take your seats. Thank you. Sit in. Or I ask Tibetan Community President Setan La to address a welcome speech.
Tashidele, buongiorno a tutti, finalmente è arrivato il giorno per alzare e gridare per il Tibet libero. Tibet! Libero! Tibet! Libero! Pergi Dagbo! Pergi Dagbo! Sepshu Macha! Sepshu Macha! Pergi Dagbo! Pergi Dagbo! Sepshu Macha! Sepshu Macha! Longsho! 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 Loto! 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 Pergi Dagbo! Pergi Dagbo! Long life!
Dalai Lama,
Long life!
Dalai Lama,
Long life!
Dalai Lama,
Long life!
Dalai Lama.
Stop killing!
Eat Tibet,
Stop killing!
eat Tibet,
Stop killing!
eat Tibet.
Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Tibet! 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 Pergi Dagbo! Pergi Dagbo!
Omeni,
Longsho! 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 Sepshu Macha! Sepshu Macha! Loto! 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 Chiare voce! Chiare voce! Tocenal, vi ringrazio a tutti che siete qua, uniti qua abbiamo trovato un posto magnifico, importante di Roma, siamo capitale, finalmente il sole sorge per il Tibet e che continui a sorgere per il Tibet e spero che i vari autoritari del mondo si alzi veramente per il Tibet, che si smuova la coscienza, è ora per alzare, per difendere, per aiutare, per il popolo schiacciati dal regime e dai potenti. Non è giusto ancora, a 64 anni ancora siamo qua a chiedere una mano. E ora basta! E smuovere la coscienza di tutto il mondo. Vi chiedo, siete amici di Sua Santità Dalai Lama, 1 milione e miliardi di persone seguono Sua Santità Dalai Lama. Se siete amici, allora dovete assolutamente
우짜라
토제낭 미망 기르 비르란 게 정말 대표와 토제낭 가린체 에모트니 셈쇼 마저러나 에모트니 내가 수수루고 다셀 차다 수부창마 배워요 배워체니 먼저 겨울을 무채 제가 쓰니 굳이 결혼 종을 안 줄라 내가 탑시 지로당 내가 쿠토니까 먼저 배워 농바면에 그런 줄 라lu mese kyada ngachunga dol hastara thande ngonjende jene lega yene lega dinde ke chomare susu lungba miri ke chomure kadine pa masharona soje tunje kadine perona kuchi rewa kyaushui kuchi ngorhanzo 비켜오름 체가 tinggi 투지나 dinde perona semshu macharona 주의 perché perché ho detto alle comunità del Tibet, dell'Europa di non perdere la speranza. 156 persone si sono bruciate, ma noi non dobbiamo perdere, dobbiamo fare un modo che sollevare la coscienza di tutto il mondo. Noi basta, 64 anni sono troppi anni di silenzio, dobbiamo lottare per conquistare, stiamo chiedendo l'autonomia, non stiamo chiedendo l'indipendenza, perché in realtà il Tibet è sempre stato indipendente, è stato sempre un stato, è stato dominato dal regime cinese e basta adesso, noi non stiamo chiedendo l'indipendenza, stiamo chiedendo autonomia, quindi chiedo a tutto il mondo, al leader di onestamente di sostenere la causa tibetana, quindi wake up, please, grazie, Tojenang, Pegalo.
Grazie Tibetan, la presidentessa della comunità tibetana. Now I request our Deputy Speaker, Madam Tengyang Jomatsiringla, Tanda Sungshe, Ke Cheshe de Ganzo Sadaram Salani Del, Kunge Zeme ki Tole Pevere, Jozo ke Choshe, Kunge Jomatsiringla, and the Dingjakan Peronas.
Trindaga Italy jasa Europe ki Italy jasa liya Europe bögi nyamdu yö singengi eni lingshi wo ne Europe ki eni kefa changmalo ne büri chidun kwali yosa changme bümiso dele nyamdu wanzo bö miri ki sumju dujen kelang chebe ki dukju defshi dele ya nyamzom chongbo dele tokma Negi, Bumima Chidul Henzo Tabshu Sheje, Bur Nalia, Rangi Luso Longche, Bur Chedu, Ludan Nangi, Bao Bao Nangi Chedu, Kudu Shuedang, Tagana Shin Tenda, Nar Shibeki, Bur Nalia, any Buri, Kunda Yongzolia, any Kenantu Dungegi Yamdong and Zorawan, Yube, Pumiso Yu, Sheje Dilin Tinema, Shueg de Bachuchon, Thomas Delia. Tene ta tirin tel ya ma ke che she koye ti sabuling gi ke khap yong le ya bö gi ne tön ma zo khare ko gu yu thanda bö gi ne tön khare re di she ku du sa ne en nge gi di che li ya in ji thol she cho bi chi she che ka du shue yin Today we are here to commemorate the 64th anniversary of Tibetan People's National Uprising Day, the bloody uprising that massacred 1.2 million Tibetans That is the 20% of Tibetan population. And the Chinese, communist Chinese planted 6,000 monasteries in Tibet. They first came with broad smile, with the name of liberation. In 1949, they entered Tibet, saying that they are going to help and elevate Tibetans. But in the long run, when they have finished making and building all the strategic plans to execute the bloody day of targeting the Potala of His Holiness, then the Tibetan people could not resist and we revolted against. This is also a day to commemorate how Chinese People's Republic of China leadership fooled the Tibetan people of their innocence and of their goodwill towards humanity. They came with a broad smile and slowly, they first, in 1951, the 17-point agreement was forced to sign. When the 17-point agreement was signed, there were so many points that they themselves violated. I'm going to tell to the world that China, they first will come with a broad smile of help. And the next step they do is, they will propose something. The same thing was done to the Tibetans. When that proposal is not listened to, then they will intimidate and they will dictate to you. So therefore, there is a lesson for the world to learn from the case study of Tibet. In the 17-point agreement, there are so many clauses which they have agreed upon. Though this 17-point agreement was signed on duress, through intimidation, by making the false stem of Tibetan sovereign state, yet they themselves violated those clauses. The clause number 3 says, Tibetan people will have rights to exercise national regional autonomy under unified CCP. Clause 4 says, the central authority will not alter the existing political system of Tibet and will not alter the established status of Dalai Lama. And number 7 says, the religious beliefs and customs and habits of Tibetans shall be respected and the Lama monasteries will be protected. And the last one is, whatever reform is being made, the reforms will be made according to the will and wishes of the Tibetan people. Now, where are these promises? I'm asking from here to the CCP leadership, where are the promises you have made in 17-point program? You have violated what you have imposed on us, and yet you have no shame to celebrate the 17-point agreement, saying that we have liberated Tibetans from the serfdom. Tibetans were religious people, they were simple and humble people, but they were intimidated. And this is the agreement which made Tibet a vessel of Chinese. Now sometimes we forget the importance of this 17-point program also. This is also a program or an agreement which agrees that prior to signing of this agreement, Tibet was a free and sovereign state. Therefore, there is a lesson for the world to learn. Now China says all is fine in Tibet. China says the Tibetans are basking in the sunshine of socialism. If Tibetans are happy and basking in the sunshine of socialism, why are our people burning themselves? We have 158 Tibetan people burning themselves, and one of the biggest self-immolation in the history of mankind. This 158 is not a number. This is human soul and spirit. They have burned themselves for the cause of Tibet because this is the only desperate solution they have to show to the world that all is not well in Tibet. Whatever China wants to sell to the Tibet, to the world, that Tibet has been liberated and developed, the self-immolation of our people contradicts the false claims of Tibet. World should understand this. If all is well in Tibet, why is Tibet closed and cut off from the rest of the world? Why is UN Human Rights Commissioner not allowed to visit Tibet? We want answer from the leadership of CCP. Now, China has rules and regulations. They have basic laws to show to the world that we are law-abiding nations. But when it comes to Tibet, every rules and regulations are being diluted with local directives. These local directives give very high hand to the local Chinese personnel to intrude into the private lives of Tibet. And these rules and the local directives give permission to the local authorities to punish all the Tibetans who go to show their condolence to the self-immolators' families, and they make it a crime to even donate to the deceased person's prayers, which is a basic culture of humanity. When someone passes away, someone dies, we show our sympathy and solidarity to that family. But this is a crime in Tibet. Tibetans cannot show sympathy and condolence to the families. Not only that, even the township has been punished if there is a self-immolation in their township. For 3 years, the government funds are being cut off. This is the state of affairs in Tibet. So what is well in China now? Therefore, we demand the leadership of China to take accountability of all the self-immolators. Let us know why they have self-immolated. They should take the accountability. Now, second thing, China is an atheist. They believe religion is a poison for the progressive community. They say that those who are religious, they are barbaric and they are backward. Let us be backward. We don't mind being backward. But whatever success story that China owns them, whatever is a failure, they have no hesitation giving it to the Dalai Lama. Possessing a photo of His Holiness is crime in Tibet. And whenever possible, the leadership of China, they demonize and they vilify His Holiness. But they are busy making a rule and regulation to grab the institution of Dalai Lama. What a hypocrisy is this? Does this mean that China has come closer to Buddhism? Has their love for Buddhism increased? No. A big no. They want the institution of Dalai Lama for their political end. By making a rule to grab the institution of Dalai Lama, the leadership of China has come to the conclusion that they cannot rule over Tibet and Tibetans forever without having the legitimacy of His Holiness. Therefore, they want this institution of Dalai Lama to break the resistance of Tibet and to get a semblance of legitimacy. Therefore, those who have religious beliefs and practices, we want you to take stand on this. This is an undeclared intent of China to grab the institution. We want the world to know that this is unacceptable to the Tibetans, and each and everyone who have conscience in their body should make their sovereign government and the parliaments to take stand on this. Now, our Tibetan people, every move and every speech is being monitored by surveillance. Tibet has become a surveillance state. Within families also, they cannot talk their heart. Within friends also, they cannot speak their mind because they are being monitored with biometric, with DNA mapping. Each one of them, they are being made so suffocated in Tibet. That's why we say that Tibet is the biggest prison in the world, where the Tibetans have no freedom of speech. Anything that is about loving Tibet and loving and celebrating the culture and song and the history of Tibet is a crime in Tibet. So, we want the support of the world. Even the minors are not exempted from taking DNA. So I say that taking birth in Tibet has become a crime for the Tibetans. We want you to help us spread this. And not only that, according to Xi Jinping's second generation ethnic policy, each and every national linguistics and the religion will be melted in the pot of Han supremacy. They want everything, be it Muslims, be it Christians, be it Buddhists. They want everything to have the characteristics of Chinese, which means that they will be melted, they will be made subservient of the Han supremacy. As part of this, nearly 1 million young Tibetan children are being uprooted from their homes, and they are sent into the colonial boarding schools. What is the need of the Chinese to take care of the learning of the Tibetan children? Why are they not let in their homes to be brought up by their parents with their own way of bringing up of the Tibetan culture? No, they want to indoctrinate. They want all the youngsters of Tibetan children to become a Han Chinese in thinking, in deed, in speech, which will really kill our struggle from inside Tibet. Therefore, this is a very pressing issue. We want the UNO and EU to pass resolutions on Tibet that our Tibetan children should have the liberty to learn in their own language, to be brought up by their own parents in their natural setting, making them into a real Tibetan. We want UN and the EU to send delegation to inspect such colonial institutions where children are having psychological, physical and sexual abuses also. Therefore, these are very pressing issues. Being a Tibetan, we are proud of being a Tibetan, and we have no ill will against the Chinese common people. Our cry is towards the leadership of the Chinese who have the wrong policies that makes desperation to our people to self-immolate. Another thing that I want to draw your attention is that the world is talking about global warming and environmental challenges of humanity. When the world is talking about global warming and environmental challenges, it will not be complete if you don't give importance to the Tibet Plateau. What China is doing, the environmental destruction, indiscriminate mining, diversion of natural water into China, building of numerous dams in the earthquake-prone zone. These are some of the concerns that should be addressed at the same time. Therefore, we urge the United Nations that the United Nations environmental framework on climate must have a research team recruited to see what is the importance of the Tibet Plateau and how the Tibet Plateau impacts the global warming and the environmental challenges. So therefore, I want the world to know that China is trying to take away the Tibet conflict into an internal matter of China. The conflict between China and Tibet is not internal matter. We should make this into an international matter, and the world should understand that Tibet is an international matter. And second thing, the world sovereign state must engage with the Central Tibetan administration and the Tibetan parliament in exile, because we are the voice of Tibetans inside Tibet. By engaging with us, you are giving recognition of our sufferings in Tibet. We want China to take accountability of custodial death, arbitrary detentions. Even at this time, a number of political prisoners who come out, they do not survive outside. All their inner organs are being either taken away or are they being dismantled so that they are left to die when they come outside. So according to the international norms and regulations, we want the UN to make China accountable for such kind of injustice to the Tibetans. If it's a Tibetan who loves environment of Tibet, if it's a Tibetan who loves to sing the glory of Tibet civilization, it's a crime. The number of environmentalists, the writers, the language activists, the teachers, they are being subjected to prison on the pretext of sharing national security to outside world. So, being a Tibetan is such a crime in Tibet. So if you feel that Tibet still matters, if you feel that the culture and the heritage that we have still matters for the world peace, you must support Tibet. Before Lunar Losar, the New Year celebration, I had the most surprising and the most, I should say, hypocrisy of that 2022 year. I heard one of the Chinese top diplomat talking to the world about world peace, dialogue, and multilateralism. When China is talking about world peace, dialogue, and multilateralism at the international level, China must know that it should be the benchmark even to the Tibetans, to the Uyghurs, to the Hong Kongs, and to the Taiwanese crisis with China. They cannot have a different benchmark to the international media and for the other nationalities they are controlling. So we must make China accountable to practice what they preach at the international platform. Last but not the least, I want to say that supporting Tibet is not against China. Supporting Tibet is the support for the truth, non-violence, and the compassion that Tibet is known for. So supporting Tibet doesn't mean that you are against China. Therefore, for us as a Tibetan, that China is breaking the fundamentals of Tibet by targeting the religion and the language of Tibet, which is the bedrock of our civilization. Therefore, Tibet is in need of the world's support. If you feel that world needs non-violence, world needs peace, world needs truth to prevail on earth, you must support the cause of Tibet. The cause of Tibet is not humanitarian. It's survival of these rich cultures of Tibet, which is enshrined in the Buddhism, which is enshrined our way of life, which we try to spread to the world. Therefore, for all our Tibetan brothers and sisters, we should not be satisfied by shouting for one day and by hoisting Tibetan flag for one day. Our cause is 24/7 throughout the year. Therefore, I want to conclude. I remember by saying that Robert Frost has a very famous poem. And this morning I was going through and I remembered that Robert Frost, in his famous poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, says, "The woods are lonely, lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. No matter how much happy you are in a citizenship of European country or any country, you have the work to do to be the voice of Tibetans inside Tibet who have no voice." So with this, I'm going to stop my talk and